Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. And now to honor America, please join in the singing of our national anthem. Representing the three-time Stanley Cup champion New Jersey Devils, Arlette.
I feel like I'm at a game. Oh my gosh. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Happy Devils Sunday. This is the Let's Go Devils podcast, season 5, episode 6, titled Despite Injuries, Devils Are Winning. I'm your host, Sam Wu, here with Beer Baron, Scotty from SiriusXM, Liquid Metal, and Shorts Guy, streaming live on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Twitter Live, and Twitch on the Primetime Radio Network.
Damn. I went the wrong way. I tried to do
You're
it.
going the wrong way. You got to point the opposite direction.
I got short.
We're trying to do the Brady Bunch thing.
That was easy. Down was easy. You know, so.
I'm down and you're up.
Yeah. So that's the easy one.
You got to do the Brady Bunch look.
Oh yeah. Hey, they figured that out in the 60s, and we can't do it in 2021. So
Hey, man. They're like, don't you realize it doesn't mirror? Anyways, or it does mirror.
Well, hello, everybody.
What's up,
How you
boys?
guys doing?
Pretty good,
Nice
man.
to see
Pretty
everyone.
good. Yeah.
Sam Wu's already disappeared. Where'd he go?
He's gone. He gone. Just like Dad leaving the room.
All right. Well, Sam Wu's gone already. Welcome to the old, the big show, right? The Sunday show. That's what we do. Oh, now he's back.
Oh, Dad's back. Dad's back. Everybody,
now he's back. All right,
mind your P's and Q's. Hey, Dad.
Bring the fun train to a stop.
Guys. All I heard was, Woo, you're the problem. There's an echo, and that's why I decided to leave.
Clarification.
It's kinda like-
Anywho.
Yeah, he sounds like that girlfriend where you make one comment and all of a sudden everything's wrong. Everything's
They
wrong.
never forget about it.
Hey,
Oh, he's
you
back.
told me
He's
I
back.
was-
See, he's back. See,
Nico
just
told
here we
me
go
last
again.
night that I don't complain. That's all I have to say.
Oh, well. Yeah, because the season's young.
Chico missed a couple Woo reports from last season. I think that's what's going on there. The old Sam Wu with the whiteboard there when he was drawing about the old NFZ there with the no fun zone. Yeah, I think maybe Chico missed those episodes, right?
Yeah, well, I do have to say though, he can go back. He can go back and listen to them if he would like to, because they are archived in all these wonderful places where you can catch your podcasts, re-listens if you would like to. Such as
I'm getting dizzy
Apple
with all the with all the
camera changes.
Here. Yeah, I'm like, well, there we go again. That's right, but you are right. We have a whole big archive that you can go listen to. If you want to hear Sam complain, there are actually examples of it. Yes, you believe it or not. Yeah.
Well, there ain't no complaining right now.
David Severson.
Yeah, mostly. We're off to a 3-1 start, boys, and I have to tell you, cycling away from the complain train is we want to focus. It's much different than a Wayne train. It doesn't beat you up; it just bores you to death and complains you to death. Yeah, I can't believe it. You're like, oh God, the complain train. So, anyways, 3-1 start. But I have to say, as excited as I was for opening night, and it was a great experience. I kind of feel like I don't want to be too excited about the team. Look at the 3 teams that they beat and the 1 team that they lost to. I don't know. I want to be excited, but I don't know if I can get there yet. Am I wrong thinking that way? What do you think, Short Sky? Do you think I'm wrong thinking like I should be like happy but not overly excited?
No, I don't think you're wrong there. It's safe to go into this season with a little bit of a little bit of caution, knowing the way that last season went. And yeah, you are correct. I mean, we did, our one loss was against, a pretty solid Capitals team, which coincidentally, I think it was that morning or the day before, I think it was NBC Sports or someone put out a graphic about the remaining undefeated teams and who was going to go the longest, something like that. And we were one of them. It's like, really, chill out. We only won 2. We've only played 2 games so far. But yeah, I mean, but it's not like you want to be cautious because it's not like all these wins. The Seattle game I missed because I was in the rink for that game. But the Chicago, the Washington, and the Buffalo games I did see. And it's not like we won those games. The 2 games we won, it's not like we won them convincingly. We were up, and then we allowed it to go to overtime against Chicago. We were down to begin with for a good chunk of the Buffalo game, and, we wound up coming back to win again in overtime. But still, it's not like we've had a convincing 60 minutes of start to finish domination. And I don't know if we're going to see that yet, especially with Jack going out, which, sucks because he was having such a good start. So, yeah, no, you're right to be cautious.
There's a funny thing about that Jack Hughes thing that I wanted to throw out there is Hughes was leading the NHL in takeaways after 4 periods of play, just to put things into perspective. And he was leading by, a little bit there. 4 periods of play. We can't get him back enough. But go ahead, Scotty. I totally cut you off, but go ahead, bud.
Oh, no, that's cool, man. I'm going to take the complete opposite approach. I say to hell with it. Go ahead and get yourself excited. Like, we got some young players, and they're finally coming here, and they're finally getting of age. I can't tell you how pumped I was when Nico Hischier finally put that goal home after having 2 of them taken away earlier in that game and the previous games. Had 2 goals turned away from him, and then he finally gets it home, and that's the exact person, now that Jack Hughes is out, that is the exact person I wanted to score that goal to break it open. He's the leader. He's the other guy that we should be going to score, and he went to the front of the net. He played that entire game hurt because he took a nasty cross check to the ribs early or about halfway through the first period, and he still found a way. And the other guy I really wanted to see score was Pavel Zacha, the other elder statesman of our young squad, and both of them actually came through. So I'm going to say to hell with it. Get excited, but be cautious.
All right, I'm taking this shirt off.
We're not winning the Stanley Cup, but like me and Sam were talking about last season, they were not winning that last game. They were not coming back. That's just they were not.
And they were not fun to watch. Yeah.
This year they did. Yeah, and they were making plays and they were out there, they were hustling. They're down Jack Hughes, which is obviously their biggest offensive threat. Holy hell, was he just dancing around the ice there before he got the old shoulder dislocated. But if these other guys start scoring, it's been great to see Dawson Mercer, rocket shot. I feel like they stopped using their speed against Washington, and Washington's a good team. We're going to see those. But those other top tier teams, I think the Devils, and I want to play Washington again. I think they were a little shell shocked minus Jack Hughes and everything. So, but I say get excited. But yes, we're not going to win the Stanley Cup this year, but you're going to see all of these young players that we've been talking about. And I know you've been on it. Those Utica Comets, be excited about them as well. Oh,
dude.
Be excited. And
we'll
guess what?
About that
all,
too, yeah.
all those guys they're on their way. They're just one step away.
Yeah,
so I
buddy.
think I'm going to take the opposite side and say, go ahead and get excited. Get excited about this, but don't be crazy. Don't be like, they're going to lose some games. They still have to learn how to win. They're a young team. Yeah. It's going to happen. So I'll take the opposite side on that one then.
But
just play devil's advocate.
Therein also lies the advantage to those two games against the game against Chicago and then the game against Buffalo. They came back. They had setbacks. They came back and they still won. So that's a positive and a learning experience for the young guys too.
And Nico Dawes,
they're going to need. They're going to need. And what?
Yeah, let me tell you what.
Dawes.
Is a coincidence there? Is it a coincidence that Nico Dawes came out there and played lights out and stellar pads with the red pads? The red pads. I'm very excited about red pads.
I like the
he
red
goes
pads.
out there. He has a stellar game, and then all of a sudden, freaking Mackenzie Blackwood is standing in line at Walgreens. spotted at the local Walgreens. You see Mackenzie Blackwood like, I got a 5:00 appointment. I got to go try and get my job back. And by the way, that leads to a very good question because he's not eligible to play until early December. So you have a bunch of games from now until whenever Mackenzie Blackwood finally gets his second shot, from the old Doc in the box or wherever he's going. So he gets his second shot. He's ready to rock and roll in December 5th, I think, or they said, around that area. If Nico Dawes, because right now Bernier's hurt, so who knows what's going to happen. The way that Dawes played last game, you would assume that he's going to be the number one for the next game. They're going to roll him out as the starter for the next game. Makes sense,
I
right?
Hope so.
The kid played great.
I hope so. Because my bold prediction from the last Devils After Dark was Nico Dawes gets his second win on Tuesday night. So I hope they have him in goal there.
Well, you would think it would make sense, right? But my point being is, if they roll him out there as the number one for a couple of games and he's playing lights out, and Blackwood's like, "All right, cool, man, I'm ready to go." What the hell do you do? I mean, it's a good problem to have, right? Because then you have Blackwood, who's supposed to be your number one, and then you have Bernier, who's the your crafty veteran, who's not going to go and sit up in the cheap seats for a while. So do you send Dawes back down to the AHL and just say, hey, keep doing what you're doing? Or do you keep him up here in the big club? That's as a fan, you're going to say, keep him up here.
But they'll probably send him back down once all that settles and the Bernier injury settles down and he comes back. I would assume they send him down there so he can get some. I don't know, but if he's that hot, we'll see. It's only been one game. But he looked really good.
We as a fan base, the Devils have been very good over the last couple of years of getting really excited about a game or two performance from a player, and then
no, us never
petering out.
I think he'll get sent back down probably.
More than likely,
realistically,
realistically, he needs to see pucks, and he will gain more from seeing pucks and getting minutes on the ice and minutes in the crease than he will by sitting there and just practicing. There's a huge difference between practicing and playing. So, however, should he earn the right to stay up, then they'll keep him up. I think they're going, they'll make that decision. More than likely, he will get sent down. The one thing, my one complaint about the whole game with Nico Dawes, two complaints.
Okay.
Actually, it all centers around one thing. His dad needed to take the tag off that jersey.
Oh,
And why couldn't they get him an authentic jersey? Why did he have to have the
because they went to the shop. He showed up and he was wearing a shirt that said "Wine 'em, dine 'em, 69 'em," and they're like, "You can't do that. We're going to interview you. You better get him a real shirt." I'm kidding. I don't know what he was wearing.
You would think you would think that the team, knowing that his parents were there, his first game, the team could, I don't know, send up a jersey,
have it there waiting for him.
to him, have it there waiting
Already?
for him, not give him the fake knockoff. Not that the Fanatics one are knockoffs, but they're not the authentics. And that tag, that just bothers me. Like seeing people with tags in their jerseys remind me of the playoffs in 2008, 9, 10, when you'd see those families that just happen to get playoff tickets and stop at Modell's on the way to the game and say, "Oh, we need a jersey because we've never gone before." Obviously, Dawes' father is not that type of person, but that's just what it reminds me of. I just wish he would have taken that damn tag off.
Yeah.
The team
but it was real cool
from the locker room.
Yeah,
like, for real.
I mean, it was really cool to see his parents both there. I mean, his mom. They had a whole thing about his mom and like how she was reacting to it. And watching your kid go out there and earn their first win in the NHL, that's got to be something special. But there's a lot of people
breakaway
that said,
too.
Yeah, big time.
Do you imagine being a parent, see that breakaway happen? Your son's first game, just getting the call earlier in the day that, hey, you're going to be starting, kid. Get ready.
Hey,
and then
it's not only that, it's goalie parents go through an extra type of stress. I saw it with my parents. I had my mom who couldn't. There were times that she had to just walk out of the rink. She just couldn't handle the stress. And,
they said Nico's Dawes' dad was pacing the whole arena because he couldn't stand. He couldn't sit down.
And you know what?
Maybe that's why they gave him the jersey they're like, hey, look at this, hey. Squirrel.
But I've seen the goalies I coach. Their parents just like pacing. Like pacing is something a goalie parent does because it's got to be stressful. I mean, we're idiots. We're the idiots on the rink standing there. And I got to imagine it's tough to see your kid be an idiot. So that's probably what it comes down to.
It's really cool that they got to experience it. It's awesome that the team came back and got the win for him, because he deserved it. I think he could have probably easily gotten the number one star, even though, Pavel Zacha getting the game-winning goal. But the future, let's say, like you said, it's one game. We can't overreact, right? We can't get too excited. Just like I don't want to overreact at the fact that PK Subban should not be on the power play at all ever again for the rest of the season until he figures out how to hold the point. Because opening night, we're sitting there watching a game
point
in the stadium.
That's a lie right there. No. Because I do believe you were quite vocal about it the other day in our group text.
I'm vocal about him not being on the PK anymore or on a power play anymore. PK on the power play, like my head's gonna explode. Cats and dogs living together, but like he can't. It's how many times did it happen opening night where we're at the game watching the Devils go on a power play, the puck gets cycled up to him, and it just squirts right through him, and it must have happened like watching every game. It happens at least 2-3 times that I'm aware of, that I'm actually watching and I see it. Like. There's probably been a dozen other times where it's happened or something similar. And it feels like he's been on the ice for a couple of these goals against. And it's like this, I got to lay down to try to block the shot crap that he does. And like I'm going to pull myself out of position. Listen, I'm a big PK fan. I love the dude's attitude. I love the dude's, off the ice presence and what he does in the community. It's just he's a shell of his former self. And I feel like now that Ty Smith is back, maybe they can move him off of the power play. Maybe they can be like, PK, yeah, you have a howitzer for a shot, but it does no good if you can't even get your own self set up to take that shot. So I don't know. Once again, am I overreacting or underreacting?
No, I think it's an honest, fair assessment right now. But PK also is a veteran. Sometimes veterans take a little bit longer to get themselves, going in the beginning of the season. I can't say I've been overly pleased with the play, because he's just been scrambling, it seems like, at all times out there. And I was one who thought he would excel in the lower pairing there. So with tie back, I think hopefully we do see that. But also we got to get a little equity there for PK so we can make a little trade happen, around the deadline. Get a little PK equity there. Gotta build that back up. So I think that'll be the one thing where they do. I feel like we're talking about. It's 4 games. Let's see where he's at after
sample.
It's 4 games already. Let's see where we're at after 10 games. Is he still doing the scrambling thing, losing his stick every 5 seconds someone comes down the ice? Like, is he always out of position? You see him flying in like into the replay, like way, from way out because he's out of. Then we got a problem. And we got a lot of good guys down there in the old at the old Utica. Yeah, $9 million problem. But we got a lot of guys down there in Utica that can play, a lot better. So what happens, in that situation? Let's hope it doesn't get there, and let's hope that it's just a little veteranness. He's an older guy now, and maybe it takes a little bit longer, for the wheels to kick in. Hockey is a long season. It's not like football. It's more like baseball. Older guys usually start slow in baseball too. I know it's a different sport. I'm just using a analogy there. And let's hope that it starts kicking in a little bit better 10 games in.
Yeah, I don't even know because I didn't pay much attention to them, but I don't know how many of the preseason games he played. But if these are his first real true reps, it's going to take him a little while to get into it. You can say he's a veteran all you want, but let's not forget our season ended, early last year. So, he's going to take some time to get
He's had time to travel the world. If you follow him on, social media, it's like, he's in Italy. No, he's in France.
To go everywhere.
Yeah, he's had plenty of time to go everywhere, with the whole team too. And listen, I get it too. There's a couple guys that you want to see get going. Scotty brought up a great point. Seeing Nico score and Zacha score this last game was big. 4 games in, you don't want to overreact to the guys that haven't scored yet, because plenty of people are like, well, what's going on with Sharangovich? I don't understand. And then you read a report that, the coaching staff is basically showing Sharangovich film like, dude, last year when you were on, this is what it looked like. This is what you're doing right now, and this is not working. You have to kind of keep guys in check. I don't think he's got a big ego where he's like, oh, I don't have to do what I did last year to be good. I just think it's, hopefully getting a slow start like some other guys, like a PK, right? But that is
He's got 3 points in 4 games.
Yes, but you want to see him start to finish. There's Jesper Bratt, finish. These guys, they get to a point, and then you're like, yes, they got it. And then it's like, what the hell just happened? Like, what? Why is it going the other way? How did that happen? So you just want to see a couple guys put it together, even though it's early in the year. I think Sharangovich is one of those guys that we need to see score next. Maybe Jesper Bratt too. Put him on the list.
I think they will. He's another one. Give some time to, because last year was just his coming out season, really. No one really had Sharangovich pegged as some big, massive prospect or anything like that. And what did he put up? 16, 17 goals? It's going to take him some time, I think, to find his groove as well. Also, Jack Hughes not being there puts a lot of added pressure on him. Shifting, no offense to Mikey McLeod. I know that's your best friend. But Michael McLeod, Jack Hughes, no difference, out there on the ice. So that also puts a lot of pressure on Sharangovich, I think, too, is now people are focusing on him more, where he was allowed to get open because Jack Hughes is the center of attention when he was out there.
Yeah. No, you're right. And Hughes can maneuver a little bit better than Sharangovich can, obviously, but I don't know. I'd like to see him score. I'm sure everybody else feels the same way.
He will. See, this is what I say. Get excited, but don't get over excited and start thinking like these guys are going to be popping out. Like I don't think Sharangovich is going to break 30 goals this year. If he gets into the 20s, that would be fantastic. That he's going to have these little down spells. In the start of the season, your center gets hurt. I don't really see a huge issue with this. He's got 3 points on the board with assists. I think he'll put in some goals. He hit the post last game. Who did? It was Studenich
Mercer.
Right? Yeah, that scramble play. How the hell nobody scored
and
on
then
that?
Sharangovich, right? Wasn't Sharangovich too the other post?
Yeah.
You know, so they get a little snake bitten. Still got some assists, so still getting points on the board. I think it's going to come for him. I wouldn't. He's not one that I'm going to be concerned about just right now because he hasn't scored a goal in the first 4 games.
Yeah, and you also have to take into account the way that last season was set up. We saw the same teams throughout the entire season. So you were able to watch that. Film. You're able to learn the tendencies a lot easier to kind of fall into a pattern of knowing, okay, well, this is what I'm looking forward to. Much easier, only looking at like 7 other teams versus now you're going to see the entire league. So you were able to kind of get into that pattern eventually. Be like, all right, well, I know I'm going to see this goalie again, and he does this, he drops his glove, this and that. So it makes it easier too as a player to know that, all right, well, I don't have to worry so much about learning, the systems for 31 other teams. I just have to worry about 7, and that has a big to do with it as well. Now we're going to start seeing teams that we haven't seen in 2-3 years at this point, so that's a whole other thing too, learning all these new teams, learning all their new tendencies, and, potentially learning them for once or, maybe a second time, and then that's it. So it's going to be more difficult to score this season all around the league.
Yeah.
Except
we had a first time ever already.
Yeah.
Seattle Kraken.
Yeah.
Yeah. And can we talk about them for a second? Can we talk about the Kraken for a second? And just how they are they already come off as like the Philadelphia Flyers of the West Coast. At least in that game against the Devils, I was like, oh, the whole time I'm watching it, I'm like, I'm getting such a Flyer scumbaggy feel from this team right now. And I have family in Seattle, so I want to like be okay with them. And I'm like, oh God.
I had a Ranger. I had a really good friend of mine. Who's a Ranger fan reach out to me, and he was like, I think that the Kraken is something we both can agree on. And my response to him was simply like, I don't know. I feel like the league is like shoving them down my throat right now. Like everything that, all these league-wide commercials is about the Kraken. It's like,
well, they did the same thing with the Golden Knights. They did the same thing with the Golden Knights. If you remember, when the Knights got introduced in the league, it was like, the Golden Knights are your second favorite team. And you're like, no, they're not. I'm like, get out of my living room. Oh, yeah. Of course.
I don't know. For some reason, I don't remember it being that prevalent when I was watching when the Golden Knights first came into the league like it is right now. Like, it was a fun watch last night. I watched the first period of their home opener. The place was packed. I know Seattle is a huge sports town. I was happy to be able to see that goal scored. I was surprised at how quiet it kind of was in the arena for the majority of that first period that I watched. I figured it would be louder. Maybe it was just the fact that, on TV it didn't sound too loud. But, if I really think they should have gone with the Metropolitan scheme and team name, brought that one back because that would have been even better. But the fact that they would open their home, the home opener was against Vancouver, which is a natural rival for them. They, in the MLS, Seattle and Vancouver hate each other with a passion. And, it's them, Portland, Seattle, Portland, and Vancouver that hate each other. So if there was ever a Portland team to come in, Portland would hate them too. So it's great that there's finally, that rivalry there for Vancouver now that Seattle's in the league. I would love to go to a game out there. I would love a reason to go back to Seattle. So I'm down for that. We can take the podcast on the road out to Seattle. Would be fantastic. But yeah, it seems, I'll watch a couple more of their home games, see what the crowd's like.
Well, I have to say my brother was because my brother and my older sister, they all live out in Seattle, and my brother went to their home opener. He got season tickets with a couple buddies of his. He's always going to be a Devils fan through and through, but it's nice to have now a local team that he doesn't have to drive to LA or doesn't have to drive to Vancouver to go watch the Devils when they come out to the West Coast. So one of the funny things is like he was explaining how the arena is, and it's kind of wild. Like you walk in street level and then it like goes down instead of like going up like most arenas do. And kind of like explain the whole experience and like the crowd and the atmosphere. And I was like, how loud was it? And he's like, it's pretty damn loud for like just a regular, game. But it's one of those things that, like I said, as excited as I could be, like, oh, cool, man. It'll be cool if I go out to Seattle and see my family. I'll try to go out there when the Devils are out there. That'd be fun to see a Devils, Kraken game. After that Devils, when they played the Kraken the other day, they hurt Jack. It was just the gooniest of goonish games that I've ever seen. And I was just like, ugh. This is all Flyers. Like their coach is an ex-Flyers coach, for crying out loud. So I could see that. And if you looked at the construction of their roster, it was like goon. But that leads me to my next point, and I want to circle back to something that we talked about before is that Capitals game. Something that I hope the Devils don't get stuck in is trying to match toughness with the Capitals whenever we play them. I don't think that's necessary. I don't think you need to bring out your big bruising guys and make your fourth line into like a dead spot in your roster. And I could be wrong about this too, but I don't think that they should try to do that. I think you should try to just skill to skill. Have four lines that you can roll out. There's a couple guys. When Miles Wood comes back, you got a fourth line that's plenty tough with McLeod and Wood, and whoever and VZ if he's out there. I don't know if he'll be the toughest, but I don't know. It just might be my opinion, but I wanted to circle back and talk about that as well and see what you guys thought about that.
Well, first off, I want to give a shout out to Jason McCluskey, who said he was at the Kraken game last night out there in Seattle, and
cool.
says that the stadium wasn't ready and the parking was a mess.
No, it wasn't.
The trains were backed up.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh,
restrooms not open in some parts. Ooh, that's a doozy when you have to run out there and take a little tinkle and you can't go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gotta hold it.
Or
Running around the stadium. Yeah. That's not cool.
Hey, it's climate change arena. They should have just let you piss outside and come back in.
Well, hopefully they get some stuff fixed for you, Jason, the next time you go.
The third reporter, I didn't catch her what her name was last night, but she said that the Canucks were down in their bench complaining that one of their doors wasn't closing properly on the bench.
Oof.
So yeah, well, it seems like any new arena is never prepared, like never ready for day one. They're
That
always
seems
still
safe.
like
Guys crashing on the boards and the door won't latch. Yeah, that seems safe. Just get your goalie to sit up against it the other way, all right? Just have him sit up against it.
It's that goon mentality. That's what it is.
Which so kind of going back, the same reporter was talking about how Quinn Hughes signed that new that new contract, and Jack and Luke are on the Devils, and she said, and Quinn is just feeling left out, stuck in Canada. And I was like, Well, he kind of
we're going to be paying the
take
last
him
2 years of that contract, I think.
Probably. That would be fantastic. But I that just caught my ear, like, she just said he's stuck in Canada when his two brothers are playing in New Jersey.
Mm-hmm. He'll come around soon.
Maybe there's a trade that could happen.
We're gonna get the Thompson. We're gonna get the Thompson brothers. We're gonna get the Hughes brothers. We're gonna get who else? There's another who's that other guy with the brother? I can't remember. Curses. Oh well, I'll think of it. We have another prospect that has a brother somewhere, and I can't think of the name of him. Anyway, we're gonna get all the brothers on the team.
Yeah,
that's what we're gonna do.
An all sibling roster.
Tyce Thompson, and he's got who's the other guy? Why can't think of it? Go ahead, Scott.
It'll come to you. It'll come to you as soon as we finish up.
So on a different note, I just went over to the YouTube channel to watch us on YouTube. How weird. And to see what was going on, see if there's any chatter going on in the YouTube channel. And there's a couple people.
Oh, Graham Clark.
Graham Clark.
There you go.
Yeah.
All the brothers.
Brent and Graham, right? So Extreme Red TV said Subban isn't playing well because he's always jet lagged. That's probably true.
Okay.
And And don't forget, Gaddy27 on the YouTube channel just said Foot and Boquest have brothers as well. So Foot actually.
Oh, that's right.
Foot just played his brother in Utica because I think his brother plays for the Syracuse Crush or whatever they're called. Crunch or Crunch.
We're going to get them all. It's going to be a thing. It's going to be a thing. Once all the Hughes brothers come, then all the other brothers are going to be like, well, maybe we should all do it. Just go on over there. It'll be a big party.
It's just like, big happy family. Big happy family. Big weird.
So what was the other thing you were talking about? Oh, Mason Gearston. I had no problem with that whatsoever. Because I didn't really think they were that bad on the fourth line. Jimmy Vesey and Mikey McLeod did pretty well, and Gearston wasn't that terrible out there. And he went to school for Jack when he got hit.
Yeah,
so I really
he went to school for Jack in the Kraken game. I'm talking about the Capitals game where it felt like they had
is that
Greason and they had
am I messing that one up?
Yeah, and they had
or no, wasn't Gauthier in?
And Gauthier and Greason was on the fourth line.
Was Gearston on the fourth line that day? I thought it was just Gauthier that day. I could be mistaken. I could be mistaken. But I didn't have a problem with them beefing up a little bit. I didn't think they needed to. They did seem to be kind of antagonizing old Tom Wilson there at the end, and Tom Wilson slipped a nice assist right past there for the fourth goal, which really just kind of sealed the deal. That's the thing. Well, he's a good player. He's a
good player. He's like Marchand.
He's a good player. And he's smart
like Brad
now.
Marchand.
When he was he's smart because he can hurt you with a goal or helping out that way. So he really did his job of getting under the skin of the Devils. And he went and and that should be just that whole game was just like a learning experience for the Devils because everyone's like, you see how they played them in preseason? Beat the Capitals in preseason. Capitals they're so wily veterans. They know how to turn it off in the preseason and turn it on in the regular season. They know how to do that like that. They don't need to go at full speed at all times. Like they know what they're doing and they're turned it on now. And the Devils saw that.
That's like, it's like Ovechkin. You watch Ovechkin play. There's times where he's just going like this. And you're like, what the hell is that guy doing? And all of a sudden he's like, whoop, boop, scores. And you're like, that's what he's doing. Conserving energy. Because he can do that. He can do that. Capitals, man.
But I really feel the Devils stopped using their speed in that game, and I think they did try to play too physical. But I think that's just like a young team learning, though. I don't think it was a bad thing. They do got to protect their players. The Washington is a big physical team. They will run you over. Like every line of them. They are big guys. There's no small they will pound you. And we have some guys that are a little bit smaller, and we wanted to get bigger and tougher. And I had no problem with it. I think the Devils weren't going to win that game no matter what. And hopefully by the end of the season, maybe they will be able to give Washington a run for their money in one of the remaining games they have against them. That's what I'd really like to see. But I think it was just a learning experience. Okay, now we're going to try and play a little bit tough, but we're forgetting about one of our best assets, our speed. Washington's an old team. Let's make them chase us a little bit. Let's use our speed
when you can't catch, man.
Exactly. Let's use our youth and our speed to our advantage. I think they got away from that just almost like over game planning. And hopefully next time, maybe they'll just stick back and say like, all right, well, this is what we do best. Why don't now Nico's older. Pavel's we're older now. We're not let's let these guys do what they do best instead of trying to counteract against Washington,
Get to a point where teams are counteracting against us. To where we're the teams, we're we're
all of us and not just Jack Hughes.
Yeah, right.
Well, we're gonna get there.
Okay,
we're gonna get there.
So then that's the other thing too is there's you see what Holtz is doing down in the AHL, and he scored again last night. He scored a beauty of a goal last night, right? So there's people that are like, so when do we When do we green light Holtz to come up to the team?
When is that gonna happen? Is that like now, or like later now? Which is it, like now, or then now, before now, when now?
When you were saying that, all I could think of Spaceballs when they're watching. What are we watching? Are we watching now? No, we passed now.
Now?
We're into that. No.
We missed it. When? Just now.
When? Just now. When will now be then? Soon.
Right?
All this bubbling and churning. Mr. Coffee, sir. That's right. Everybody knows I like coffee when I watch Radar. Anyways, all right, we're going off the rails.
We're way off the rails.
It's gonna be Spaceball quotes for the rest of the. What the hell were we talking about?
Well, bringing up
when he's
one.
Oh, that's right, Holtz. Yeah,
because in the first 2 games you have Jack Hughes. The Devils score 4 goals in the first game. You know, you feel pretty good about the offense. Mm-hmm. And then the last 2 games, they've scored 3 goals combined. So when do you start to think like, maybe we could use his shot? Maybe we could. So do you pull that trigger sooner or later?
Well, I think one issue is if you bring him up, you have to move someone to center because he's a winger and Jack plays center. So now you're rearranging a whole bunch of lines. Does that mean you're moving Pavel Zacha back to center? He seems to be much better as a wing. I don't know. I think that's part of the issue too, is Jack plays center. And to bring up Holtz, you got to move somebody else. So who would we move?
Yeah. The other thing to think about as well.
What was that?
well, Short's
got to start answering it. Nikki all the time?
Yeah, all the time. She's like,
Scott,
did you see that? And like,
Scott, why isn't this done? Scott, why isn't this done?
Not even both shoulders up, too. Just one.
Just one.
I don't know. What do you want from me?
Well, I mean, I think that might be part of the issue too. Is just that he's a winger, and yes, I'm sure they could make some room for him because he can score a lot. But is it better to keep it down there and keep him rocking? At Utica, game in, game out, and getting those top line minutes. I mean, he's probably going to get top line minutes and, up at the big club anyway. But I don't know. It's just, I guess, a different. I don't know. I'm fine with it. For me, I think our friend Ramona on Facebook was right. She said Mercer and Holtz were going to make the team out of camp. And I tell you the truth, I was kind of shocked that Holtz didn't make the team because he looked really good in the preseason, but he wasn't. There were some giveaways that he probably wasn't. He wasn't on the power plays and stuff like that. So I don't know. But to me, he looked like someone who could probably be doing some damage at the NHL level.
Yeah. It's just, kind of like we were discussing earlier with the Devils and their wins and who we've played. You got to take a look at who he's played down in the AHL. And you want him to become a consistent scorer and make sure that he can continue to score and not just it's a couple games. Not to say that he's, not going to be a consistent scorer, but you want to see that he's developing. You want to see that his production is going to be consistent. You don't want to bring him up too early to the point where he goes out there, has a couple of bad games, a couple of bad shifts, stops scoring up here, and then it winds up being a detriment to him and his development. Whereas if he keeps playing down there and scoring and getting that confidence, it could be worlds better. It's the Devils used to always make sure that their players were down in the AHL and in Albany for a while before they came up. So I have no problem if that's what they're going to do with him. just to make sure that he gets that consistency and the confidence, which has a lot to do with it as well. You can have, we're talking about PK having a slow start. Players have hot starts and then they cool down. You want to make sure that, it's consistent. So you have to look at, I think 10 games with that as well is something to look at too. Not every team has a strong minor league roster. I mean, the Penguins have one of the worst in the league. So, if he goes out there and against Wilkes-Barre scores 4 goals, well, that's fantastic. But who was this competition? The NHL is a whole different beast than the AHL. So you have to take all these things into account. And I guarantee he's being watched like a hawk in his play.
Yeah.
And he's being coached. He's being coached from the big club. And now you're seeing the benefit of when they had, Binghamton right in the rink next door, to where they could go sit and watch, and they could bring guys up for, a night or 2 nights and not have to do a ton of travel too. Because if it doesn't work well, Utica is a far drive. I don't know if either of you two have done that drive from where we are to Utica, but it's a hell of a long drive. And you don't want to have a player making that drive or having to, catch an Uber or a Lyft or something. I'm sure that you would hope the Devils would spring for a ride for him, but you would hope.
Make him take a Lyft.
They won't even buy. They won't even buy Nico Dawes' dad an authentic jersey. So who the hell knows if they're gonna pay for a ride for this? For Holtz to come down from Utica, or they're gonna be like, wait to call him up until he's in Hartford when it's a cheaper Uber ride. Hey, while you're in Hartford, just come on down.
You got bus fare, kid?
Yeah. Listen, there's a train station in Bridgeport. Just take Metro North down to the city and then hop the path. Anyway, you want to make sure that he's consistent and look at how he goes into this season, because we, again, like I said in the beginning of the season, we've been really good at getting really overhyped on things in the last couple seasons, and all of a sudden they don't work. Yeah. Not to say that he's going to go the same way, but I'd rather make sure he's ready to go versus a premature pull up.
I'm gonna go with Ramona here. She says Holtz is up by mid-November, so I'm gonna follow a word over there.
If you go onto one of those, if you go into one of those sports gambling places, you could probably do that.
Mid-November is that's him getting a bunch of games down the AHL level. That's him finding a consistent confidence in his game, and then by mid-November, that's absolutely long enough time to get that really good feel on him if he's being consistent or if he's, just have a hot start and kind of cooling down. So.
Yeah, and you nailed it, dude. Like, there's been so many guys that you see in the AHL and you're like, oh man, waiting for Reed Boucher. We're waiting for Johnny Quenneville to make the big team, and then they come up in there, and you're like, "Dude, what the hell happened? Where'd you guys go?" So, yeah,
Alexander Holtz is not John Quenneville.
No, I know.
I'm gonna
any means, but
no, he's not Reed Boucher either.
No, I know. I understand. I'm just saying. Yeah. So, and if he is, you better not eat your words, because if he is, God, I'll tell you if he is. But anyways,
how about Holtzy?
You look at the Devils, and the one thing that's always been missing from this team, you could think way back when, is we've never had those big time scoring wingers. We've never had those. And when I say big time scoring wingers, I don't, you have teams that have guys that are consistently hitting that 40 goal mark or hitting that, pushing for 50 goals or doing things like that. This team has never had that. I would hope to see some scoring help if Holtz does make an appearance in mid-November. Hopefully it's not because the team is, scrambling and needs him to come up here. Hopefully they're in a good spot where they're like, hey, we're not hovering at 500. We're not like on a 7-game, losing streak, and we need to throw some spice on the team to get them to go again. Hopefully it's just like, hey, you know what? We're in a good spot. We're in a good spot in the standings. We're in a good spot where this team's got good chemistry. But if we inject him into the lineup, maybe it'll give us that extra boost. So I just hope that when he does make his appearance on the team, it's not because they're in desperation mode in early November or mid-November or whenever he does, make that appearance. I hope it's just because, they feel it's the right time and the right place, and it's not, because the S has hit the fan. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I just can't see that stuff happening anymore. There's just too much talent on the team now. I just really can't. I don't know. They just, you see it, the hunger when they're out there. They're young. A lot of them have some good experience now, and they're learning how to. Like I said, I don't think they would have won that Buffalo game last year. This year, they did. Even the first game, I got total chills going right back, flashback to the Jets. As soon as, it was just like, and you know what? They came back and they won. They got it. They got the victory.
But let me tell you,
that's what I look at. That's what I look at, and that's what I see. Last year, that was an L. This year, it's a W. And they're not all going to be W's, but let's see the majority of them start flipping the other way.
Yeah, and in the moment, I'll tell you what, being in the arena and when they came back and they tied it up, and Chicago got it to 3-3 with 25 seconds left, every single person in that building that was a Devils fan was just going, well, here it is. Here we go. Here we go again.
And what happened?
They did the opposite of what we thought. And when Jack scored that goal, and he did the
George
flip,
Costanza. They did the opposite.
And he did the bat flip of hockey, and threw his.
You mean the Jack Hughes Selly of the year?
Yeah, the Jack Hughes Selly. By the way, if that doesn't win Selly of the year, I don't know what does. But people.
It did.
There's people around the hockey world saying like that should be the standard of if you're at home and you win a game at home in overtime, you
do the Jack Hughes.
You do the Jack Hughes. I think it's called the Jack
Hughes. I think it's called the Jack Hughes now. Yeah,
I think it is.
Yeah, it's the Jack Hughes. But,
it was that win was great last night. You're 100% right. They would have folded like a cheap suit against.
They would have folded against Chicago too.
Well, they would have, but they would have folded against Buffalo, and they would have ended up losing that game 3-0 to Buffalo last year, because what happened was like they came off a brutal defeat against Washington, right? They came off a game where Nico Hughes, geez, my brain is everywhere. Nico Hischier basically said that he was embarrassed by the way he played. That was the worst game he's ever played. And him and Lindy Ruff had like a long meeting in the morning before the Buffalo game where he's like trying to work it out, trying to figure it out. And that's what a captain should do. And that's what a good hockey player should do. But, they go into that game in Buffalo, and you're right. They won a game that they would 100% lost last year. And you just hope that they carry the momentum into Tuesday's game, that they could start to piece these together. Let's hope that this 3-1 start is not just a flash in the pan. That this is a.
I mean, they're not 0-5. They're 3-1. I mean, come on.
Yeah,
give them a little credit here. Talking like
this is how
8 or something.
This is how snake bitten we are. This is like how battered we've been. Like this is like the dog that's been hit over the head with a newspaper too many times that cowers anytime somebody walks in the room, because the Devils do this all the time. Like anytime they give you hope, they take the rug right out under your feet. Every time, that's what it feels like the last couple of years, and you can't deny that. Every time we got excited about something, how many times do we have to say we can't get too excited? We can't get too excited. We have to temper the excitement, because you always are waiting for that other shoe to drop. Well, yeah.
Well, you have to. Well, we've been saying. Well, I think Tom Fitzgerald and everyone's been saying for quite some time it's gonna take some time, and we know that these kids are young, and that's why. We're saying get excited, but be smart about it. Don't get way too ahead of yourself, because you see when they play the Capitals, they still got some things to learn. But you see when they play a team like Buffalo, who is, in their own rebuild, but they got some stud players over there as well, man. Woo! Tokarski in goal was on fire.
And Cozens, man. Cozens is the real deal. That kid is a real deal.
They got some stud play. They're going to be another team like in a couple of years, just like the Devils. But, see them leveling up to that competition. They're not there on that Capitals level yet, but I feel like this is what we should be expecting. This is where we should be at, All these kids are finally coming here. This is what we've been talking about the last couple of years. I mean, you had to know these last couple of years we were not going to be a good team. You knew that.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, I know, but I'm just saying, like, why would you, if you're going to know that your team is not going to be good, like, and you know that they're rebuilding, why would you put so much stock into those, like, last couple of years?
Because you're just tired of the losing, dude. You're just tired of because you keep holding out hope because you can't.
But they're
it's
saying
like you watch it.
They're not going to be good. But they're not going to be good, and you know that they're really young, and they're like. So I'm just where is that?
I don't know. I don't even know anymore. I don't even know what to think anymore. I just watch and I hope. I watch and I hope. That's it.
I'm just messing with you. I know we're all bummed out these last couple of years. I mean, yeah, everyone wants to win, but we had to go through this, and it's going to be so much sweeter on the other end. It got screwed up a little bit. We all know the Taylor Hall saga. We all know what happened. So it didn't work out. We thought we had a nice little in there. We thought we got ourselves a little superstar. Yeah, you're talking about that 40 to 50 goal scorer. That was supposed to be him, and look at what happened.
Mm-hmm.
So, they went back, and at least we didn't get too far off track. And now we're starting to see, all of the pain that we went through is starting to pay off. And we're 3-1 now. Are we going to be, 30 games over 500? I don't think so, but are we going to be a lot better than we were last year? Yes. I just think there's just too much talent there now. We had a lot of guys that were here for the time, and that was it. We have some pieces now that are here for the long term. Nico Hischier, Jack Hughes, Dawson Mercer. Well, actually, I can't really say that about Pavel Zacha. I hope so, but he is a unrestricted free agent after this year. But Dougie Hamilton, Ryan Graves, Ty Smith, you have more of the pieces are actually finally set there, and the majority of them now have some at least decent experience under their belt.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they're gonna win more games, man. It's gonna be a lot more fun. I've enjoyed the heck out of these games, except the Washington game, but those are gonna happen.
Except for that clunker.
Happen. Yeah, well, they're gonna happen. I'll take 3-1 rather than like 0-2-2 or something like that. Like they came back, they won, they showed me something. They showed me fight. They showed me spirit. They showed me that they're getting better.
At least we're not Toronto fans. Rain record.
Oh yeah,
throwing jerseys.
So true.
Fans throwing jerseys onto the ice already. Like holy hell! At least we're not Toronto.
Yeah, but
fans.
To their credit, the Toronto fan has been like, you think we've had disappointment? My God, just the disappointment up there has got to be. It's got to be.
Oh yeah.
I can't even imagine. You're like, we got Mitch Marner, we got Austin Matthews, and we got swept in the first round. So
Tavares, everyone else.
Oh yeah, yeah. By the way, I just read something that I thought was pretty awesome. I didn't realize this, but Nico Daws was undrafted in his first year of eligibility, and then ended up getting drafted by the Devils in his second year of eligibility. This is one of those kids that chip is going to be forever on his shoulder. On his shoulder. And you almost hope, like, I love that kind of stuff. I love seeing a kid or a professional athlete, and you're like, let's hear how you made it to the pros. And they're like, well, I went to community college, and then I went to, a big school, and I fought my way into the roster, and I got into, I'm more speaking like football terms, but like, you understand what I'm saying. Like, those people that didn't take the traditional, like, hey, I was a number one prospect when I was 13 years old. It's like, no, this kid had to work hard to get where he is. And that is obviously one of those staples that you want to see in any professional athlete that is like, hey, this guy didn't have it handed to him. He went out there and grinded his way to it. So I just think that's kind of cool. Like I came across that and I just wanted to kind of throw that out there. And hi, Sam.
Hey, Sam.
Think about Shorts Guy, podcaster, potential e-bug.
That would be great.
One day. That's what I think.
I would take that position as e-bug. Absolutely, would I take that position?
Toronto's looking, I hear.
As long as they'll let me over the border, that's fine. I have a valid passport. We're good to go.
Let me tell you what, man. Toronto at this point might be looking at you as their number one. So
that's fine. I'll do it.
You get your stuff together. Get your stuff together and get your passport. You might be playing in the NHL next week, bud.
Yeah, right.
I'll have to get some pad wrap to make my pads blue, black, and white instead of red, black, and white. But hell, if it's Toronto, they can at least afford to buy me a new set.
Hey, wait, Shorts Guy.
I smell a Netflix series coming from this. Coming from this.
Hey, Shorts Guy, real quick, what are your thoughts on the red pads that Nico Dawes was rocking instead of? I know Wedgwood has the all black gear. What do you think of that? Stacking them up, the all white gear, the all black gear, or the all red gear?
I love goalies that go with a non-white base to their pads because it's become so prevalent. I mean, you look at the Rangers and the Islanders. Both their goaltenders have white base pads with very little color in them. A lot of goalies around the league have white base pads. It's the ones that that don't, which I think are fantastic. So yeah, I'm all for them, and I am also still on the hunt for those Aaron Dell Bryans pads. They're somewhere.
Those are sick. Those are the best. Those are 100% the best.
Somewhere out there.
Yeah.
I have a potential inquiry. I have someone that'll potentially be asking for me if they get the opportunity where those pads went. So hopefully I can find that out.
Awesome. All right, boys. Should we do final thoughts?
Yeah.
Sure.
Why don't you go first?
All right, I'll go first. Might as well. Scotty said it earlier. I've been super impressed with the Utica, Comets and just the overall everything about them. Not to take anything away from any of the prior AHL affiliates of the New Jersey Devils, but Utica, from the looks of the arena to the fans in the stands to the coverage of the team to their Twitter presence to everything that they do, I've been so impressed with the Utica Comets and just everything that they are. They're such a professional organization, I'm just happy because, and you know what is even more than me being happy is the players seem happy. Because I watch a couple interviews after the games, and they talk about the crowd, and they talk about the fans, and how jacked up they are to play at home. And one of them might have slipped, and I won't say who, but they said, it hasn't been this loud in an AHL game for us in a while. So good for Utica. Good to have them as our AHL affiliate, and hopefully for a very long time.
Again.
Yes, again.
That's
true. Yes.
Don't forget again.
Right. Martin Brodeur was a Utica, whatever they were back then.
Utica Devil with the weird U. I wouldn't mind seeing that again. They should bring that jersey back for a throwback night.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'll go. My final thought. It was good to be back on a Sunday night podcast. So that's my final thought.
Woo! All right. And my final thought is I'm calling Nico Dawes win number 2 Tuesday night against Calgary. Don't forget to check out our good friend Sam Wu. He's going to be over there at the arena, Taj Lounge 973 for Game Day Live with Vinny, and then me and Sam will be doing some Devils After Dark post-game action, maybe from the bar, maybe from Sam's
Depends
place.
if it's comedy night.
Depends if it's comedy night or not.
The joke's usually on me.
But either way, if you're going down to the game, or if you just want to go watch the game and enjoy, I said the tacos. Sam just keeps going on about the catfish. I don't know. I've never really recommended catfish to anyone before. I'll go tacos and wings. But yeah, go down to Taj Lounge 973, Game Day Live, and then Devils After Dark.
My final thoughts, listening to you guys tonight, the light is at the end of the tunnel with this process. When you look at the Utica Comets 3-0, while the Devils had their struggles with injuries, yeah, there were some close calls, but they have that fight in them. Nico Hischier's leading by example, played hurt, willed his way to a game-tying goal that set up the game winner, Pavel Zacha, who also is coming into his own. These are all
keep him on the wing.
These are all great signs. And I'll tell you also why I like the Utica Comets. They tag us on Twitter, their Twitter account, every now and then.
No way.
Yeah,
buddy.
But it's usually to promote stuff. But it doesn't matter. They're tagging us, and we really appreciate that. We love Utica now.
We love Utica.
Love them.
So I want to thank everybody watching tonight. Thank you to John, Getty, Will, and the YouTube Live, Ramona, Jerry, Michael Hay, everybody. And thank you all those that do come out to Taj Lounge 973. I'll be there Tuesday night. Stick with us, the Let's Go Devils podcast. We got some more stuff coming up very soon. Till next time, let's go Devils.